All right, so today on the show we have Mr. Craig Stevenson. Second time on the show for him. The first person ever on Cam and Sam Sports Show to have a second time. Firstly, we'd like to thank you for playing a huge part in our promotional video that you appeared on.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that. I look fantastic.
So how are you today?
Yeah, really good, really good. Obviously, fresh off the big win of the weekend. How big house singing? Feeling fantastic.
Yeah, all right. We don't talk about that on the show.
Oh.
But what we do talk about is the All Blacks and how they performed over the weekend. So
Yep.
A lot of people are calling the All Blacks performance rusty. What are your thoughts about the game that happened over the weekend?
I thought it showed some fantastic skill. I don't think rusty would be a word that I would use. I think 2 tries off first phase shows the All Blacks are running very, very well.
So you said there was some outstanding play. Were there any key standout performers over the weekend?
Yeah, I think the game was controlled particularly well. I think the young halfback had a great game. His clearance of the ball was fantastic, and I think Dan Carter was certainly on his way back to his best.
Was there anyone who Hansen would have to consider dropping after that performance over the weekend?
No, not out of that squad. I think they all did their job. Whether he brings in some of the reserves to have a start this weekend against the Australians, who knows? But I think they can be very, very, very happy with the way they performed.
So what do you think worked well the best for the All Blacks over the weekend?
Combinations, I think possibly bar the second 5 centres combination, everything else worked fantastically. I think the back three were brilliant. The scrum was strong. Lucy's certainly got out there and did their bit. So I think right throughout the field they look good.
I'd just like to say, looking at these questions, I've done a stunning job at writing these. Thanks, Sam, for writing them, which you didn't. So, Rob...
I see a few spelling mistakes there too, boys.
Hey.
And your spell check.
Hey, I don't use spell check. Anyway. So what do you think the All Blacks will be looking to improve going into the next games, if anything?
To be honest, I think what they'll do is they'll try and play a game that has the Australians carry the ball less. I think they have to... so I think even though the first phase went well, I think retention of the ball and making sure that they can starve their possession away. I think this side's probably capable of having those statistics up around the 70-odd% mark. And I think that's probably what they should aim for, keeping their ball out of Australian hands and playing with it as much as they can.
So was Robbie Dean's decision to drop Cooper a good one? Do you think he was a big loss to the Wallabies?
I think with Cooper you can either have a superb first 5/8 or you can have a disaster. And I think Robbie Dean's, possibly after what happened in the World Cup with Cooper, probably wanted to protect him from the All Blacks a little bit longer. I don't know. I don't think they would have been any better with him there. So, Beric Barnes, is it, or whatever his name is, did a fine job. I think they've got a great playmaker at 9 and nothing much outside. So I think they're a little bit underpowered.
Do you think they're looking at Beric Barnes as more of a consistent first 5 rather than Quaid, who has moments of outstandingness?
Mate, I think they're just like a 10 that can do a 10's job, and I don't think either of them are doing that for an 80-minute period at the moment.
So what sort of loss do you think Pocock will be to the team this weekend?
I don't think Robbie can afford to lose too many people at all. I think the skill and the talent that he's got there, he probably needs to hold on to. I don't think the depth is really in Australian rugby, so yeah, he should be a loss. Let's hope.
So obviously a hot topical conversation in the rugby world these days is the loss of Sonny Bill Williams. I mean, I have a stand on it that he shouldn't be playing these couple of games because, as far as I'm concerned, he's out of the team. Do you think he's will be
out of the team? He's in the team, but
yeah, but I just think they should be using Conrad Smith, getting some combinations working because Sonny Bill's about to leave. Do you think he's going to be a good?
Injured?
Is he? Well, I don't know my stuff, do I? Anyway, thanks for showing me up.
That's right.
How much of a loss do you think he'll be to the team?
Sonny Bill?
Yeah.
No, he won't be a loss. I think he'll go on and do fantastic things and continue what is a brilliant career. And I think New Zealand can safely 2 or 3 more people into that position and do just as well.
Fair enough.
He brings something to a game that no one else does, but I think we can definitely do without him.
So do you think, did you watch the South African versus Argentina game?
No.
Correct.
No, I'm joking. I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. But anyway, obviously Argentina didn't put up much of a challenge to South Africa. Do you think it's a waste of time putting them in the competition in terms of challenge?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think you've got to go back to the reason that they're there in the first place, and they're trying to strengthen that part of world rugby. I think getting another side up into the top echelon is important. Argentinians play fantastic rugby, and I think with some discipline and some good coaching, obviously using Graham Henry as they are, it can only be good for world rugby and for Argentinian rugby.
So do you think that's predominantly the reason why they're in the competition, or do you think it's a money thing, money making?
I believe the IRB and the unions when they say it's to promote Argentinian rugby.
Fair enough. So looking at,
get a few Spanish speakers in there too.
Can you speak a bit of Spanish yourself?
No, wouldn't mind.
So just going back to the game over the weekend and the reffing, there were quite a few penalties given away. Not much advantage being played. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think he went in very, very strong, especially around the scrum. Gave away a lot of penalties, all of which I believe are justified. But he certainly went in there to dominate that set phase. He wasn't interested in resetting too many scrums and letting the players sort themselves out, which is sometimes handy in a game. Can settle the boys down and get a bit of a pattern going. And as a result, it was a bit stop-starty early on, not much flow. But no, the referee did a fine job, so he only refereed what he saw. And he did a fine job, but it wasn't the most smoothest of games.
Okay, so look at the rugby championship as a whole. Who do you think will come away with the whole championship?
Oh, I think the All Blacks are out there to beat, aren't they? I think they're current world champions, got the World Cup under their belt, and I think the Wallabies have got much. Argentina, as we know, are developing. It'll be interesting once we get a hold of the South Africans and see what we can do against them.
So are there any players over the next month or so that we should be watching out for?
Well, that young halfback, I think, is pretty exciting. But interesting to see what happens with the wings. But and I think they've got a couple of different options. Who are they going to bring in to help out Dan Carter? Is Cruden going to be there, and is he going to make that step up into a regular Test player or not? So that could be interesting.
Sweet. So looking forward to the game.
Oh, I just better mention Brody Retallick too. I think it's an outstanding young find, and hopefully he can cement himself in there too.
All right. So looking forward to the game this weekend against the Wallabies again.
Yeah.
Have we got a score prediction?
For the Wallabies at Eden Park. How many years has it been since they won at Eden Park, lads?
Good question. Don't know.
10 years since they've won at Eden Park. Can't see it being anything less than a 20-point win.
All right, so thanks for coming on the show. It's been a real privilege to have you. We've had a lot of fun. And now after the break, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and play a game of the Richless with Mr Stevenson. And Mr Cotton is going to be in studio to play against him. And later on the show, we will be talking to Mr Cotton about his football. Thanks, sir.
Excellent. Great to be a second timer, guys. I've never been able to request a song on radio. Is there any chance you could...
What song would you like?
I'd like the Eagles, Take It Easy.
Eagles, Take It Easy. I'm sure we can get that for you. See you guys after the break.
Thanks, boys.